What up, YouTube Live? Streaming from my humble abode. Um, my pink shirt, my pink bed sheet. That's right. So, I want to talk a bit about tonight's episode of Star Trek Discovery. I believe it's. Hold on, I got my notes here. I believe it's episode 6. Yes. Uh, Titled Lethe. Now, I had to look that up. Apparently, it's Greek for oblivion, forgetfulness, and concealment. That's what Lethe is. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I didn't grow up learning Greek. I would have loved it though. So back to the episode at hand. I thought that was interesting. First of all, that Star Trek Discovery aired tonight on the same evening as the premiere of The Walking Dead Season 8. Because as you know, Sonequa Martin Green, Sonequa plays Michael Burnham in Star Trek Discovery. She was a part of The Walking Dead. Um, Spoiler alert, this video contains spoilers. Sonequa's character, became a walker at the end of the previous season of The Walking Dead. So now she's part of Starfleet. um, okay, so Lethe. First off, I want to dissect this episode, okay? Moments by moments. And if you have seen the episode, you would totally understand or can follow along. I love how Frayn's character, Ambassador Sarek, yeah, Spock's dad, let's just put it that way. He said tonight, in times of crisis, ignorance can be beneficial. So I was like, okay, Mr. Diplomat, yeah, just use simple English. It's on a need-to-know basis. In times of crisis, ignorance can be beneficial. AKA, sorry, I can't tell you further because it's on a need-to-know basis. So Sarek is supposed to meet the Klingons, trying to work out a deal or some sort. Of course, something happens. Boom. And what happened was there was a fanatic on the same ship. So these are ideological Vulcans who are like, how do I put it this way? They're like the extreme right-wing group in the Vulcans, where they think that, kind of like in America, there's extreme right-wings, like, oh, America first, or protectionist, oh, we can't let those immigrants in. Apparently the Vulcans have their own extremists too. And they're like, no, we are anti-humans. The fact that we are associating ourselves with humans is an abomination. And, that hits home for Sarek because his wife is human and Spock is half human. So what's interesting, I tweeted this out earlier. There's a lot about tonight's episode that just cracked me up. It's hilarious. For instance, last week was about rescuing Lorca. Tonight was about rescuing Ambassador Sarek. And then, bam, at the end of tonight's episode, that Admiral lady, what's her name? Admiral, see, I'm not good with names. Admiral Cornwell. She got abducted. So what now? It's about rescuing the Admiral again? I mean, how many more rescuings, man? I should pump up the brakes. Hey, writers, pump up the brakes on these rescue missions. Come up with some fresher plot for us. But yeah, it was hilarious. Last week was rescue. Tonight was rescue, and then now Admiral needs rescuing. But we'll get to that later. Let's see, what are my notes here? Oh, the other thing that cracked me up was the jogging part. The jogging when Michael Burnham and her roommate Tilly were jogging. Apparently, on a Starfleet ship, you can jog through the tight hallways, where everybody walks, where everybody's doing their business. Like, hey, that apparently is your gym too. And uh, so I tweeted out, it's like, okay, apparently on Star Trek, if you run through tight hallways, the whole space is your right of way. I'm just like, dude, this is a futuristic, advanced ship, and there's no single treadmill around. Come on, guys, come on. I'm surprised there were no injuries happening during that. I mean, at the end of the episode tonight, Tilly was running too, and then Michael stopped her. I was like, see, Tilly could have like run Michael over there, but that would have been a catastrophe. The cafeteria, that also cracked me up. It's so it cracked me up in a way that I kind of envy it, because I wish I had a machine that does like that. Where you just ask for a burrito or a cup of tea or something, and then boom, they'll have it for you instantly, and the machine will also explain what that item is about. That's what the machine did tonight in the episode. Michael ordered a cup of tea, and the computer had to, I don't know, encyclopedia what the benefits of tea. It was just so hilarious. Um, this new guy that I talked about last week, Ash Tyler. Remember in the previous video of the previous episode, I said, "Hey, be careful about this Tyler dude. He's been with the Klingons for months. You never know. Um, Maybe he pulled the Homeland series. Do you remember Homeland season 1, where uh, what's his name? Captain Brody. Yeah, apparently he sympathized with the terrorists that had held him captive over those months. So you never know where Tyler's allegiance is. He may be there to infiltrate. But for tonight's episode, the writers seem to show that Tyler is on the good side. It's on the Discovery side. He helped out with Michael's effort to rescue Sarek, and I think that's awesome. And obviously, this Tyler dude is a well-trained soldier. He is really, really good, man, at what he does. So it's good to have that kind of skilled person on your side. And so I just hope that he doesn't betray the team. I'm just hoping that tonight indicates that, hey, he's a good guy. End of case. Um, let's see. So before I get to the themes, um, another thing that cracked me up, and I spoke with this on Twitter with my friend um, Savage Diana, who is a bigger Star Trek fan than I am, and we were cracking up about the Admiral and Lorca. Now, before the Admiral gets abducted by the Klingons at the end, there was a scene where Admiral and Lorca were arguing because Lorca is this whatever gets the job done kind of guy. All right, so to some people, it's absolutely wrong for that approach as a captain. So that's where the clash comes in with Admiral, because Admiral is by the book, by the rules kind of girl, kind of leader. She's a leader. Um, so that clashes, and apparently they have history and romantic history, turns out, because tonight's episode they slept. And it was hilarious because the build up to that sex scene, even though they didn't show the sex scene, but the build up to that, it was just so. It was the cheesiest thing ever, man. They were drinking wine or some romantic drink, and I believed he touched her by the leg, I believe, and the way he's trying to seduce her, and the background music throughout the whole thing was this cheesy Cinemax at midnight kind of music. It's like, oh, for those of us who remember Cinemax in the 90s, and all those episodes of Bliss, remember Bliss? I think Bliss was on HBO, not Cinemax. I forgot, but it was just like tonight's music in that build up was just like the cheesiest softcore ever. Um, Come on, Star Trek Discovery. If you're gonna do a build up to a sex scene like that, you don't fall into the stereotypical cheesy softcore porn music. You know, just it's just so it's too expected. That's how I put it. It's like, oh, of course, they just had to go that direction. The music just had to go that way. Um, but back to the story at hand. Michael Burnham, in her process to rescue Ambassador Sarek, um, she has to go through a memory in the past that she herself probably would rather not remember, because it was a time or a memory when she gets rejected from the Vulcan expeditionary group. Um, and now we know why that is. Why Sarek has to be the bad guy and says, no, you can't join us. Um, and all those years, Michael carries that guilt, thinking like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? I have failed my master. I have failed my teacher. I mean, um, but now we know that it was a choice between her and Sarek's son, Spock. A Vulcan is a culture that apparently is so uptight, um, about letting anybody in that's not a Vulcan. Um, I don't know. I guess it's a fear of what if something changes our culture, you know, by letting these others in. Um, and that leads me to my theme tonight. I think if I were to draw a conclusion, there is some sort of a comparison between the clash of Lorca versus Admiral, and the clash of Michael versus Sarek, even though it's not really a versus. But there's a comparison. There's a comparison to be made there. Um, and the lesson is that Lorca is basically everything that Vulcans hate about humans, because he makes decisions that quite often are not logical. As I said earlier, he's the he's the whatever gets the job done kind of guy. You know, if it means pushing some buttons, if it means, pressing his crews to do some unconventional methods, if it means compromising, um, so there are emotions and feelings involved in such decision making. Stress, pressure, and those are human things. Um, those are human traits that the Vulcans just like, no, dude. We're like logical beings. I mean, if you want to use today's example, for example, all right, today's political current events. Um, in in the 80s, Ronald Reagan applied trickle down economics. It did not work. Obviously, trickle down economics just don't work. It just it doesn't work. It just doesn't. It never does. It ends up benefiting only the top rich, and everybody else gets neglected. So for other administrations like George W. Bush and now Trump trying to apply trickle down economics again, the Vulcans would see that and be like, dude, that's not logical, dude. What the hell? Didn't you learn from what happened already? Um, but human traits are like, okay, so what can benefit me? What can benefit us? Sometimes we can be self-centered beings as humans. Um, in the case of Lorca, it's not necessarily about self-centered. It's about this war. I think he's so driven by it, and now with the threat from Admiral, because Admiral threatened Lorca. If you don't fix yourself, you're gonna have to step down. Actually, she said she's gonna help him step down. So she's not necessarily giving an ultimatum. She's like, next time we meet, we're gonna have to talk about you stepping down, because she feels that his decision making, his approaches, are not good for the good of Starfleet. She feels that he can be a danger to him and the whole crew. I personally think differently. I think he did not get the benefit of the doubt. But now that threat, back to that threat, that threat of taking the ship or the Discovery ship away from him, now that threat is around, I'm concerned that Lorca may get desperate. And some people, when they get desperate, man, they do foolish things. Desperation can lead to missteps. I'm just speculating right now. I hope Lorca is a bigger, better man than that. I'm hoping he is much wiser than that. He did give a job to Michael Burnham, so that was nice of him. So I hope it's not it's not like where he's thinking, okay, the next time Admiral comes, I'm gonna lose this ship, so I only have this much time window or time frame to get this thing done. I'm gonna get it done, and hopefully it's the right thing that he's gonna get done. Well, now that Admiral gets kidnapped, Admiral gets abducted by Klingons, I guess she's not gonna be around anytime soon to take the ship away from Lorca. But next week's episode, if you've seen the preview, it's about a time loop. There's an attack happen, and apparently they're in some kind of a time loop where I'm assuming things are gonna be decided based on what just happened, or the acts within those time loops, and it'll be interesting to see, because I think it's again another diversion or side story away from the Klingon war, or the war with Klingon. I mean, tonight the Klingon only shows up like at the end. I think, judging by the preview for next week's episode, we're gonna have that too, where it's just about the crew, and Harry Mudd's coming back. Rainn Wilson, the lovable loser. not Rainn Wilson. Rainn Wilson is awesome. Harry Mudd is the lovable loser. He's a cockroach. He's a survivor. He's coming back next week. Oh my God! I wish they would come back to Stamets though. Stamets. Remember last week's episode where Stamets looks in the mirror and his reflection is still in the mirror? I was like, what the hell? Oh, it's so Twilight Zone-ish. It's like so Outer Limits. I was like, let's get back to that. I want to see that mystery. I want to see that. That is so spooky. That's spooky. I hope the writers come back to that and explore it further, because Stamets, I just can't pronounce his name correctly. He's probably my favorite character in this whole show, next to Lorca and Burnham. Stamets, his skepticism and his sarcasms are precious. He's just so sassy. I love his attitude. So I want to see him explored further, especially that reflection in the freaking mirror that is so creepy, Twilight Zone level. That's it. Those are my thoughts about Star Trek Discovery episode tonight, titled Lethe. And please subscribe to my channel. And if you like my channel, if you like all the videos here, support me at patreon.com/ramascreen today. Become my patrons. Let's rock this.